Hello and welcome back to Bookmark Chronicles. Today I'm doing my June wrap up. So I had a pretty decent reading month. I ended up reading more than I thought I was going to, even though at the beginning of the month I felt like I was behind on my reading, probably because I didn't have a lot of physical copies and I read a lot of things on my Kindle, which is good because I need to do that more often. So hopefully I can somehow incorporate that moving forward. But also, I have a little drinky drink today. I got it was like a mango passion fruit soda and I added coconut rum to it. I can't taste passion fruit at all, but the mango and coconut go well together, so. This first book I actually ended up finishing in May. I didn't think I was going to because it was an addition to my TBR, but it's The One by John Mars. This is about a company that matches people genetically with their soulmate. So a lot of mixed feelings about that because some people are super excited to know that they have someone out there for them, while others are less happy because marriages are being broken up or people are just second guessing their choices. There is also a Netflix adaptation of this. It's 8 episodes, I think. I have a review of both the book and the adaptation, so I'll have that linked in the cards and in the description. The first half of it is completely spoiler free, so if you want to see if you might be interested in it, go ahead and check that out. I do recommend it. I recommend the book more. I enjoyed this more. I rated it 4 stars. The adaptation is very different from the book though, so if you have read it and you plan to watch, just pretend they're not related at all. Then I read Yellowface by R.F. Kuang. This is about Juniper something, and she steals a manuscript from a friend that she watched die, and then we follow her rise to stardom from that stolen manuscript and sort of just follow her journey from there. There's been a lot of criticism about this book, and particularly with the direction that R.F. Kuang chose to take it. This is a contemporary fiction, which is a little bit different for her, but I think it was well done. I enjoyed it. I rated it 5 stars. And frankly, I don't think that this story is too far-fetched. I feel like a lot of people are complaining that, oh, this would never happen, or there's a self-insert of R.F. Kuang in this book, and she's too young to know anything, and I don't really feel like any of those criticisms are valid, but that's just my personal opinion. I enjoyed it, highly recommend it. I do also have an author review of R.F. Kuang talking about all of her work that I have read so far, which includes Yellowface, the Poppy War trilogy, and Babel, so I will also have that linked for you. Next, I read Furyborn. This is the first book in a trilogy where we are following 2 women 1,000 years apart. One is prophesized to be the Blood Queen and the other is prophesized to be the Light Queen. We don't actually know who is who, and even at the end of this book, I still don't quite know who is who because I feel like I've been told one thing and then it turned out to be not true, so now I just don't trust what I'm being told. I like this book enough. I rated it 3.5 stars and I am going to continue the series, but aside from confusion, I don't really know how I feel, so I guess we'll see what happens. I am intrigued though, and with the way that things left off in this book, I really do want to continue because I want to know more and I want to learn more, but I also don't know how these storylines are supposed to converge, and I think I'm also very intrigued by that. Then I did a buddy read with a group of friends and we all read Fourth Wing. It wasn't supposed to be a group buddy read, but it kind of just ended up that way. Anyway, I don't read fantasy romance, and that's what this is. So for this to be really the only fantasy romance that I've ever read and there are dragons, I had a great fucking time. I rated it 5 stars, and I know a lot of people are going to be surprised by that or repulsed by that, but get over it. Look, if you're gonna read this book, just go in with the lowest of intentions. Don't worry about the plot. Don't ask logical questions and just enjoy the vibes. Then you'll have a great time. The dragons in this are the best thing that I've ever read, and that could also be because this is my first book with dragons. So like I said, I had a fun time. In this, we're following Violet Sorrengail. She has been training her entire life to be a scribe. However, at the last minute, right when Violet's getting ready to go to school, her mother decides that she's going to be a dragon rider, whether she likes it or not. So Violet faces very unique challenges here, including a disability that makes riding a dragon very difficult for her. And dragon riders, for some reason, are just unnecessarily ruthless and murderous and will murder each other for no reason. Like I said, it was a fun time. I do have a full review of it, so I will also have that linked. But if you are a fantasy romance fan and you like dragons, I would recommend this one. Then I read the next 2 books in the Mafia Misfit series by Asia Mooney. If you're unfamiliar, this is a series following different members of Black Mafia families. I'm not a Mafia girly, but I'm really enjoying this series. I've been having such a great time. Book 4 is Sinful Desire, and in this one we start following members of the Irish mob. I rated this one 4 stars. It wasn't my favorite, but if you do like Mafia and you like BDSM, then I would recommend this one for you. And then book 5, Sinful Obsession, I rated 4.25 stars, following another member of the Irish mob. Really enjoyed this, really enjoying this series overall. And so right now 5 books are published and there will be another 5. I do have part 1 of my series review out, so I will also have that linked for you. And I did talk to the author and she said that book 6, Sinful Enforcer, will come out in July. So it wasn't on my TBR originally, but it's going straight to the top of the list. I cannot wait to continue this series because I've been having such a good time with it. Next, I read Feed by Avita Weiss. So this was a recommendation from Heather. Heather loves Avita Weiss, and I downloaded this a while ago. This author is taking their work off of Kindle Unlimited due to some of the recent changes. They said it might not be forever, but it is just for now, so I figured I might as well go ahead and read it while I had time. This is just a novella, and I believe that there are going to be 2 full-length novels, if I'm not mistaken. And the first one might already be out, I'm not sure. But this is about a succubus who lives in a world where monsters and humans coexist, but nobody at her job knows that she's a succubus and she wants to keep it hidden. She needs to feed those, so she uses an app called Monster, which I guess is sort of similar to Tinder. And she can hire someone that she can use to feed, among other things. However, the person that shows up on her doorstep is somebody that she works with and she hates him. So we follow them throughout one night. And like I said, it's just a novella, so it's pretty short, but then I think the first novel is supposed to pick up where that one ends. I liked it, rated it 4.5 stars. This is like the second monster thing I've ever read, so I don't know if I'm gonna continue the series, but I didn't hate it. And the last book that I read was Bad Fat Black Girl. I listened to the audio of this. It is available on Script and it is narrated by the author. Basically, it talks about trap music and trap culture and how it relates to feminism, and I really enjoyed it. I highly recommend this because I think it does shed light on the way that certain things within trap culture are viewed and how that misconstrued view can affect the feminist movement. So I think she did a really good job with it, rated it 5 stars, and definitely recommend. Those are all the books that I actually completed, but I do have a few soft DNFs. First was Murder and Mamon by Mia P. Manansala. This is book 4 in the Tita Rosie's Kitchen Cozy Mystery series. I did get an arc of this. However, Robin and I are going to buddy read it later in the year, right before it comes out. So I'm just putting that one on hold for now. And then I also was supposed to read The Bone Shard Daughter with Monet, and Monet went and had finished it, but I was falling into a slump / not really feeling it / just really tired from work and didn't want to read. So soft DNF on this. I am waiting for my audio hold to come through. I think I checked a couple days ago and it said 7 weeks. So whenever that hold comes through, I will pick this back up. From what I heard, it doesn't get too much better, but I'm gonna give it a try. I really do hope that I end up liking this. This was a gift from Robin, I think, and I added it to my wish list off of Dasher's recommendation, so hopefully I end up liking it. All right, so those are all of the books that I read in June. Let me know if you have read any of these, if any of them are on your TBR. Has anyone else started reading Mafia Misfits because of me? I feel like I'm doing a great job promoting that to people. But otherwise, that's all I have for you today, and I'll see you in the next video.